Welcome to the Esrati Report. I'm David Esrati, and you don't want to be me. Last night, instead of broadcasting live, I went to the Dayton Unit NAACP meeting to hear a panel talk about veterans resources in Dayton, Ohio. I posted the video to this channel, and you can watch it, or you can take my word for it. We're lucky to have the Dayton VA here because it creates a lot of jobs, and veterans like me actually get decent health care there. If you're a veteran and not getting your health care there, go sign up, even if you never plan to use it, because funds are allocated by the number of veterans signed up, and that means more money to provide services for those of us who utilize their services. It seems lately that Dayton's mayor, Nan Whaley, is trying to find her next job outside of Dayton, Ohio, since the state turned red in the last election. This weekend, she had an editorial in the New York Times about how we're really not a Republican state and that we just need to improve our messaging. Here's a hint. Ohio Democratic Party, stop telling Democrats who to vote for in the primary. Second, let's bring some sanity to the jurisdictions in Ohio. There's no logic behind our 88 counties or our 608 school districts or the 30 jurisdictions in Montgomery County alone. But then, of course, Nan just couldn't help herself, and she decided to brag in another article in the New York Times about how we've cut our heroin death rate in half. Let's set the record straight. The addicts did a fine job of killing themselves off with bad product, and then the dealers realized that dead addicts don't buy more product. Yes, we've still got a serious problem with drugs in Dayton, Ohio, but it's nothing national health care wouldn't solve pretty quick. So let's talk about that instead. Oh, I forgot. Nan takes a lot of her money from her friends at Premier Health and Kettering Health, so we can't talk about real health care in Dayton, Ohio, or the rest of the nation. The city is going to hire a new firm to collect more money from people who call 911, according to their new contract with a collections firm. Excuse me, isn't that what we pay taxes to support? I know you can bill some people's health insurance for ambulance runs, but maybe that's part of the reason health insurance costs so damn much. And by the way, they're spending $1 million to do this. Again, let's get national health care and stop this nonsense. Another one of the friends of Nan in the local Democratic Party, demolition man Steve Roush and his company, SRI, got indicted in an illegal dumping case. This is almost funny since Roush is getting in trouble for moving our dumps to his dump, which isn't a dump, mostly at taxpayer expense. In the meantime, maybe he can put up the original Dayton Daily News building at the corner of 4th and Ludlow as collateral. He got that when he made a giant hole in the ground on Ludlow for the city to help a company steal about $2 million from us by promising to build student housing. Yes, I know it's all a wild and crazy tangled mess in Dayton, but that's what happens with political inbreeding. And we'll start this again. In the all politicians are liars slot, we now have Senator Rob Portman telling us how great it is that Amazon is going into Wilmington, and that he and the folks from Jobs Ohio are making claims of great growth there. Can we get that in writing, please, with a personal guarantee from someone? As we have Amazon, more incentives. Need a clue on how this plays out? Remember Emory Air Freight in Dayton or Airborne Express in Wilmington? How about the investments the taxpayers made in General Motors? Now we hear Lordstown is shutting down because Americans don't want the Chevy Cruze. We don't want Ted Cruz either, but we're still stuck with him. Wouldn't it be nice if politicians were actually held responsible for the job creation money they squander? Speaking of squandering, folks, the guy who couldn't keep track of tens of millions at Wright State, Wright Pat Credit Union CEO Douglas Fetcher, is now going to accept cash from state-authorized pot dispensaries. This is a huge step forward, but Doug, if you lose these drug dealers' money, I guarantee you won't get off as easy as you did at Wright State for losing taxpayer money. And one other thing, I can't imagine any well-heeled pot dealer wanting to wander into the ghetto branch you maintain in Twin Towers on Xenia Avenue. Maybe the first thing you might do with your newfound deposits is build a branch that's not an insult to those you are serving. Speaking of banking, our soon-to-be former state treasurer, Josh Mandel, has decided that Bitcoin is now legal tender for paying your taxes in Ohio. The only people who might be clamoring for this service was illegal pot dealers. But sorry, Josh, write Pat credit. You just took that need out of the equation. Too little, too late, just like your exit from the U.S. Senate race. And as a final note, are you wondering if Phil, the torturer plumber, just took on a quick consulting job with the Department of Homeland Security? Now instead of pepper spraying inmates and restraints, we're lobbing tear gas at women and children in another country down on the Mexican border. Sounds just like something Phil would think was a good idea. If you like this form of haphazard entertainment via the inner tubes, please like and share on YouTube. If you don't like it, feel free to give it a thumbs down all you want. In fact, please subscribe so you can smash every single video I produce. We'll try to do this every day in a shortened version around the same time to tell you all the news that's news to the Dayton Daily News and the local TV stations. For now, signing off and sayonara, this is David Esrati, the most dangerous man in Dayton, reminding you that a little knowledge can get you in a whole heap of trouble. And remember, one other thing, you can chat to me via YouTube while we're doing this, and I can answer your questions. So feel free to start commenting live, and we'll see what we can do to answer your questions right here on the fly. Thank you very much, and have a great evening.